What's up, YouTube? This is Raiders Eric. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and do the Walking Dead review, Season 4, for episode US. Um, this one it was less emotional from, episode, 14, The Grove. Obviously, a lot of things happened in that episode that was very emotional. This week's episode was not that emotional, but we found out a lot of more things about the group that Daryl is with. Um, First off, I'm just gonna get right into the review and grade that I will grade this this episode of The Walking Dead. Um, so you get to Daryl's group, and Daryl is sitting there hunting for squirrel, killing a rabbit or squirrel, and I forget the guy's name that he was arguing with, but he was arguing with one of the group members Joe's group members about, that's his squirrel. They both shot the squirrel at the same time. And the guy said, I claim that squirrel. Daryl said there's no rules no more. They were arguing, he's talking shit about Beth, saying that bitch was just like, you know, messed up your head and whatnot. He was telling that to Daryl, and then he started talking about little girls, and I think that's what pissed off Daryl. It was just like, you gotta realize Daryl's not like these guys. Daryl is not like Joe's group. Joe's group is just it's just to me they're twisted and they're rapist and they're not a good group. And Daryl's nothing like this group. So Daryl was about to break out a knife, and Joe comes and intervenes. So they travel to this place and they find this warehouse and whatnot. And Joe starts explaining to Daryl that they have rules, and their rules are if you claim something, if you go around claiming something that basically belongs to you, and Daryl is sleeping, and he wakes up, and one of the group members from Joe accuses Daryl of stealing his I guess it was what was it? It was like a rabbit or something like that, or a cotton or something like that, stealing something from him. Daryl gets mad and says, I didn't steal nothing. You planted it there when I was asleep. Joe asked Daryl if he's telling the truth, and Daryl says, I didn't steal anything. So Joe punches that own group member dude, and he tells the rest of the group members to jump that guy. And basically, their rules are to not lie. So if you lie, you can get punished by just a harsh punishment or even a severe death. Now, see, that's the difference between this group and Rick's group. Rick's group, when they did something, it was for a purpose. It was never to harm the other group member or anybody in their group. And to me, if you're a member of somebody's group and you guys are friends, you shouldn't be taking that other person out. That's why I don't like Joe's group. They're kind of wrong and stuff, evil and twisted. I don't know about evil, but um, radical. Let's just put it this way: they're radical, and Daryl is nothing like this group. Daryl is nothing like this group. I could tell right off the bat he does not like this group. So then you get to, you know, Carl, Rick, and Michonne, and of course they're traveling to Terminus, and Michonne and Carl, they start playing games or whatnot, and Rick, Carl asks Rick, "Are we gonna tell these people what happened to us? Tell them the truth of who we are?" And Rick says, "We're just gonna tell them who we are." And then Carl says to Rick, "I don't know who we are." And then you got Gwen, Tyra, Tara, Jean, Abraham, and Rosita. Um, Gwen is still, really focused on finding Maggie at this point. It's surprising to me that we're already in the 15th episode and they all still haven't um, um, found each other yet. Everybody's pretty much still spread out and stuff like that. So, Glenn's telling Abraham, talking to Eugene, you could have armor gear, my prison gear. Glenn gives up his prison gear to Eugene to protect him. Then they come across this tunnel. It's a tunnel, and there's nothing but darkness, and the tunnel was all caved in, and it's all caved in, and something happened there in that tunnel. There's an accident and stuff like that. So um, you know, Glenn and Tara, they said they're gonna go their separate ways now. Abraham tells Glenn, "You guys run into trouble. Maybe you can catch up to us, something like that." So they get into this tunnel. Glenn and Tara do. There's a whole bunch of walkers, man. They're just trapped. I guess the whole cave, you know, collapsed in, and they're all trapped under some rocks and stuff like that. And there's like a lot of walkers. There's a lot of walkers in that tunnel, and it's dark. And I forget what happens. Tyra falls, or she falls and hits, you know, breaks her leg or something like that, and she's stuck or something like that. And then Glenn is trying to get her out, trying to get her out. Tyra yells at her, "Go find Maggie, go find that Maggie. Leave me alone. You can't, I can't make it. Basically, let me die or whatnot." And then Glenn goes, "No, I'm not leaving." She screams at Glenn, but Glenn says, "I'm still not leaving." And walkers are hella coming, they're hella coming at them. And, looks like they're both about to get, basically bitten and fucked at this point. And then you have somebody in a truck shines their light, in the truck with a vehicle and starts shooting. It was pretty tight. Starts shooting from the truck and shoots all the walkers and all that stuff. And, lo and behold, Glenn and Maggie find each other again, and Bob and Sasha. So the group finds each other again in the tunnel, and that was a good moment. That was a good moment. There was one thing that was very interesting in that moment where it's funny. Um, Abraham says we could all celebrate that you guys found each other, but we're headed to Washington because Sasha says that Eugene says that he knows how to hear this. We want to go to Washington too, and then Eugene for some reason brings up Terminus, and told me, he's trying to put this Washington trip on hold for some reason. He goes, "No, we should still try to go to Terminus." And Rosita says we could maybe recruit some of them, find some supplies or whatnot, and all this stuff. And Abraham says something about Eugene. What about going to Washington? Eugene says no. Let's go to Terminus. At this point, pretty much, Abraham is acting like Eugene's little bitch, actually. And it's funny because Abraham is such a strong character, and he so far, and he's so he's buff and he's big, and he's taking orders from this mullet guy Eugene. And it's pretty funny to see their relationship in that way. He's taking orders. He does basically what Eugene says. And there's a reason why that Eugene does not want to go to Washington right now. You know what I mean? And it's, to my opinion, it's about because he really doesn't know a cure. He doesn't really know how to solve this thing, and he's basically lying to Abraham. And I think that's the reason why he's trying to stall to go to Washington. Now he just wants to go gung ho, go to Terminus. So the only thing we did not see this week is Tyrese and Terrell and Baby Judith, and we didn't see Beth. Still don't know what happened to Beth yet. I think next week in the finale we'll know. I'm gonna do another video of death predictions for the finale next week. So stay tuned to that. But anyways, the end of this episode with Glenn, Tyra, Eugene, Abraham, Rosita, Bob, Sasha, finding Terminus. And it's weird because this place looks nice and gated community, and there's no guards there. There's flowers there. There's no guards there at all at this place, which is strange because you would think in a zombie apocalypse, especially in that type of world, that there would be some kind of guard watching the place outside, and there was nothing there. Nobody to greet them except for one lady. One lady comes out and she introduces herself as Mary, and she looks kind of creepy, man. And just the way she says, you know, you guys have been out in the, looks like you guys been out in the road. And then they say, yes, we have. Well then, you know, get your stuff get together. You guys can come in. It's just, there's something about this place that it doesn't feel right, man. I think it's gonna be more worse than Woodbury. Um, 'Cause what type of place, you know, calls himself a sanctuary, but you know, doesn't have any guards to protect it. Nobody outside is watching. You know, and they just randomly welcome people in for some reason. Randomly welcome, you know, people in that you don't even know into your territory or your sanctuary or whatever it's called. There's something fishy behind this terminus place. I don't know, is it a place that does experiments on people and stuff like that and tortures people? And maybe it could be a place that they use this place to draw people in, but yet they use it, but yet they have a hidden agenda, and that probably they want to gather information from people. They want to pick people's brains. that's a funny that's funny, picking people's brains. I just don't feel good about this terminus place. I just don't feel good about it. So now we know that Rick, Carl, and Michonne are really close. Oh, and another thing I forgot to mention, when Daryl and them were walking, because Daryl saw the sign about Terminus 2, and then Joe goes, you're just going to let people like us in with open arms. But then he also tells Daryl that he's looking for the guy that killed their friend in the house, which is Rick. And back in the episode Claim, remember they never saw Rick. Rick was hiding around in the corner when Joe was outside, and he killed people in that house. And they basically tell Daryl that they're trying to track this guy, who killed their friends. And this is what I think is going to happen. They're gonna finally get the terminus, and Rick and Carl Michonne are gonna get the terminus as well. And as soon as Joe and his group and Daryl get there, Joe's gonna recognize Rick. Um, he's gonna find out that Rick was the one in the house, and then all shit's gonna break loose. Daryl's gonna defend Rick, because honestly, I'm just telling you right now, Daryl does not like this group. Nothing like this group. They're a bunch of um, radical, racist, twisted people. Joe's group, in my opinion, and Joe to me is radical. I think he's kind of like the governor, where governor was manipulative, and he knew how to get into people's minds psychologically, and manipulate people. The governor did to get people to follow him, and I think that's kind of how Joe is right now. He comes off as this nice guy, but he's not evil, but he's just radical. I think even more radical than Merle. So, I mean, this episode was all right. It was okay. I give it, I give it probably a C, because not everybody has reunited yet, which is very strange for them not to all reunite yet. And we don't even know either if Daryl and Joe's group are going to end up at Terminus, but I think they will. I think the only person that probably will not end up at Terminus yet, and I don't even know if we'll know about it, is Beth. Still don't know who took Beth. Oh yeah, in this week's episode, it was clarified that Joe's group is not the hunters. I knew they were not. I knew they were not the hunters, because the hunters don't go around hunting people. They go around eating people. So if they were the hunters, they would have eaten Daryl already, because that group is cannibalistic. We still haven't seen Negan yet, so Negan could be the finale next week, or even that this could be a place where Negan is even at this sanctuary, because all you really know is that there's this old creepy ass lady named Mary there. So I don't know, you guys. I just have a bad feeling about this Terminus place. I think a lot of people are gonna bite the dust. people are gonna die or severely get messed up. You know what I mean? So, well, anyways, that's my review for season 4, Walking Dead episode US episode 15. And can you believe there's only one more episode left, you guys? One more episode. You know what next? The next left, and that's next week. So I'm excited for the finale. Um, I'll do my death predictions for the finale soon, and I'll let you guys know what my thoughts are going to be about that. All right, this is Eric Raiders. Leave, comment, subscribe.